right, guys. We couldn't do it in person, so I apologize. Mike's out here training for the CFL, helping some of his buddies from EMU out. I got Mike Glass on the show today. Eastern Michigan quarterback, St. Louis native, currently a quarterback for the Montreal Alouettes of the CFL. Mike's got a pretty awesome story, a lot of roller coastering going around in his career. He's going to share it with us. Guys, tune in for this. Second EMU guy we've had come on the show, and the second local to St. Louis that we have on the show as well. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Go ahead, like, share, subscribe. Helps us out, gets us more guests, and enjoy the show. All right, man. So finally, it took us a minute, but we got Mike Glass here, St. Louis's own. Scared me a little bit, got a little bit lost a cell phone here and there, But my man's up in Michigan doing some pro day stuff, getting ready for the CFL with the Alouettes. Mike, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
Man, a lot better now. I know that he didn't get in a car crash or something like that. It scared me a little bit, man.
Yeah, I'm good.
You good? Well, Mike, this is a St. Louis-ish centered podcast that we got going on, video cast. Obviously, legendary St. Louis career, coming out of high school. I talked to one of your teammates, Terry Myrick, a month back, and it's always a little confusing to me how a kid from Missouri gets up to EMU, just like how a Georgia kid got to EMU as well. Did you open that pipeline up there?
Kinda. Well, actually, it was a guy from East St. Louis before me. His name was Odie. He was the first guy up here that was from the St. Louis area. And then after me, we have Cameron McCoy now. He plays quarterback. So I've been working with him while I've been up here. You know what I'm saying? Watching film late nights and stuff like that. So it's been cool.
A little bit of a not so narrow path to get up there. A couple stops in a junior college and whatnot. I believe it was your second junior college. You guys went to the playoffs and whatnot.
Yeah, we that was with Southwestern Junior College. So first I went to Fort Scott. I went to Southwestern my sophomore year, and we went 9-2. We went to the championship game. We lost to LA Valley, but I had a great career up there. I got team MVP and it was South California Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, and stuff like that. So I had a pretty decent career up there.
Well, it seemed like when you were at Fort Worth, kind of getting your feet under you and then taking that next step, because I think you had, and I got to look at the stats again, I'm sure you know them off the top of your head, but it was more touchdowns than interceptions that freshman year, just kind of thrown into there. And then that second year was really just like, okay, I get this. You know what I mean? Like, I know what I'm doing now.
Yeah. So my freshman year, what's crazy is I was supposed to redshirt. Something happened with the starting quarterback. I don't want to speak on that too much, and they were like, Mike, you got to play. So it was like I was really thrown in the fire because the whole time I'm thinking I'm just redshirting, so I'm not even taking game reps. And so they was like, Mike, you got to play now. And that game I ended up having like 80% completion percentage, but in the Jayhawk conference, it's competitive. It's real competitive, and you really need a whole fall camp to be ready for a full season. And I low key didn't have that, and I was just thrown into the fire.
Now, was that kind of the plan? Because you're 5A. It's 5A here in Missouri, right? That's where you're. Okay, 6A. So you're the top tier high school. I personally feel like Missouri's got St. Louis area. We can go out west to KC and whatnot, but Missouri in general has got some of the most underrated football here in the country. We think about Georgia, Florida, and Texas. Well, they got some dogs coming out of St. Louis especially, but different conversation. But how was, obviously thrown into the fire, was it not so much your skill set, but the preparation because you were preparing to be the red shirt, the 2 or the 3 the whole time?
Yeah, I knew I could have started as far as talent wise, but I just didn't have the complete understanding of the offense. And so I didn't come I wasn't an early enrollee.
Yeah.
And so I got there over the summertime. We barely going over the plays. So we really only went over the plays for a month. Those other quarterbacks was there from the spring, so they know the offense. And from my understanding from the beginning, I thought I was going to be a red shirt.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out like that, which was beneficial to me in the end. But at the time, it was just I was just thrown in the fire, so I had to make it happen.
Yeah. So then season ends, kind of bumps and bruises along the road, the natural learning curves. How'd you get to Southwestern, your second school?
The offense, when I was at Fort Scott, the offensive coordinator left,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't have an offensive coordinator like during that off season.
Oh man.
There was no talks about one for a while, and I was just actually talking to my head coach from Fort Scott yesterday because his son goes there. But we didn't have an offensive coordinator, and I'm the quarterback. Like I got to feel comfortable with who's coming in, or at least have talks about it. And they wasn't having any talks about it. And so I was going to transfer originally to Garden City.
Okay. That junior college sends guys to big schools all the time. Yeah.
They won a national championship the year that I was transferring there. And I was going to go there with Coach Sims, and Coach Horton wouldn't release me because it was in conference transfer. And so he didn't release me. And so he didn't have control if I went to Cali. And so that's why I ended up going to Cali and ended up finding Southwestern with my best friend, Ron Stokes.
That's awesome. So obviously playoff performance or playoff berth, getting a little bit more comfortable. You're a year older, kind of a little bit more versatile now because you're picking up a different playbook and everything. How did EMU come about? Like the junior college, I don't want to say portal, I don't know if that's the correct word, but the junior college recruiting system blows my mind to an extent because you got so many good players that, and I know there's the stereotypical ones of like, okay, the grades and stuff like that, but I'm talking about guys who went straight to the junior college, like Aaron Rodgers comes to mind obviously all the time. I think Josh Allen as well. How did EMU come about? Like, because Coach Crichton was there at the time, right?
Yeah. So those guys, like schools like Eastern Michigan at the time, they're looking for guys that's ready now. I was ready to come in now and play. I didn't get Eastern Michigan offer until right before school was out. Western Michigan, my coaches were telling me Western Michigan was on the table, but PJ Fleck ended up leaving. I went back to square one and didn't have anything again. And so the whole second semester, I had nothing. I had Morehouse at the beginning of the semester. I went down on a visit, but then I really didn't want to go there because I knew I could play at a higher level.
Yeah.
So I just waited it out. And the last day of school, I'm thinking I'm going to go back to St. Louis. Coach Creighton called, and he's like, hey, we want to get you down here on an official visit. And I got down there, and then they offered me a scholarship, and the rest is history.
Yeah. Well, it would have been cool to see you go to Western because Caleb Elby was there at the time, I believe, and another St. Louis guy, hoping to have him come on the show after the season. Hopefully he plays pretty soon because reasons. But obviously you go there. I think that's 2017. You're backing up Brogan at that point. He's kind of, the guy there for a little bit because he's like a 3-year starter coming up on Charlie Batch's records. What was Brogan like as far as, because you went in there as a QB2 or QB3 or?
When I came in, I had to, so it was a whole long story about this. So coming out of JuCo, I needed 76, or no, I needed a 78 in my math class, and I got a 77. And so I had to sit out my first year.
Okay, yeah, because there's no stats on you or anything like that.
So I had to sit out my first year. And so that whole year, like I did part of fall camp until they found out that I had to sit out. Then I had to pay for school on my own in 2017. And then I wasn't able to work out with the team or do any practice with the team or anything. So I had to come up like super early and like work out on my own. And when practice was going on, I couldn't be on the sideline or anything. Like the coaches couldn't even know that I was coming to practice. Like I would sit in the stands and see what's going on. So when I do come back in 2018, I'm not behind. And then once I got everything together academically, Coach Creighton called me, told me I'm back on scholarship. And he told me one thing that I remember. He was like, hey, we're not waiting on you. So if you don't know your stuff, like we're going with Tyler Wiegers. The whole time he didn't know that I was coming to practices and watching film and just stalking him. It's basically that's what I was doing. I was stalking. And so once 2018 came back around, I was ready to go.
Yeah. And I mean, the stats don't lie. You know what I mean? Like 2018, obviously, getting the rhythm, all that stuff. That 2019 season, breaking Charlie Batcher's records, everything like that. You know, I mean, I wish more. I hate to say this because if you look up your name on Twitter, it all comes to that bowl game where you get the targeting, which was nonsense. But I mean, that 2019 season really put it on the map, and you guys had some pretty awesome players on that team as well, like uh, Matt Sexton, obviously in the in the XFL, Kajan Armstrong there, and was CD playing was he on your offensive line? Because I know he kind of like erupted, like excelled the last 2 years when he was there. So he was a freshman, right?
Yeah, 2018, he actually came in a semester before me. CD started off at left tackle. He ended up moving to guard, and
Yeah.
that's when he found his position.
Yeah, I mean that like Terry and I talked about him a little bit. I think off camera, and man, that I don't want to make it about him, obviously, but that dude's a day 2 draft pick, man. So I know the USFL tried to pick up some of these Michigan guys, and I love it. Whether it be Michigan State, U of M, or EMU, but seems like a wasted pick in my opinion for the USFL. That dude's a dog, man. Like I like watching that.
Too.
What's up?
Jose Ramirez too.
Yeah, another guy. They got him, and I think the Panthers picked up Gunnar Oaks as well, like an H back, like Payne Hillis type dude. So, I mean, did you talk to Charlie much as like you were coming up? Like how involved? He's not really that involved like that.
So I didn't have a relationship with him like that. My years here, I think he came when Brogan was here more.
Yeah.
He really didn't come around like that.
Yeah. Did you talk to Brogan at all? Like kind of through through burner accounts on text messaging? Like, hey man, I see you doing this. What play is that type thing?
Oh, not really because like I was there and I saw it in person, and so I saw, you know what I'm saying. Like I learned a lot from what he did well and what the mistakes he made, and so like I just learned that way because I was right there with him the whole time. So I didn't have to.
Now, obviously, 2020 comes around. This is kind of the sad part of the story, right? Like, let the listeners know what is the mindset, the process, the resiliency to go through all this, like up and down, shadowing from afar, kind of doing the Jimmy Garoppolo thing, from the field over. And then 2020 comes around and the phone doesn't ring and you don't like what. Take me through that because that's the most fascinating part of all y'all's journeys and whatnot when you're doing this.
So, yeah, that was rough. So they shut everything down. COVID happened. They shut everything down. Like I had a couple like local workouts. I had one with the Detroit Lions and meetings. I had a meeting with the Patriots and everything got shut down. They didn't come, and so it was just a big waiting game. Yeah. And so I knew me being realistic, like I needed those workouts and I needed those interviews and meetings to talk with people. And so when it came around, I thought I was going to be like if I was to get drafted, it'd be like 7th round, or I was to get undrafted. So that didn't happen. That day was the longest day ever. And I was so disappointed. Like my role has never been easy. It's never happened. Like I've never moved up to the next level the first try.
Yeah.
So I just had to keep going and just keep my head down and keep working.
Now you go to the IFL, you play with Massachusetts Pirates. They just won a championship. It seems like the owner, and I don't know him well, but he seems very involved, Mr. Yatim. You're going up there. They have Benfield up there. He's been in the IFL for a couple years. I think he played in some other leagues as well. What's the mindset of that? Because eventually you got hurt, and then you're the guy. Like kind of back to those Fort Worth days.
So it was basically I just needed an opportunity. Didn't play 2021, and so that's 2 years of me not playing football. And so I just needed to get back on the field again, and I didn't care who was starting or anything like that. Like in football, you're always one play away. Opportunities presented itself like multiple times in the season, and I was able to execute and capitalize on my opportunities, and good things happen from it.
Now, was it how much of the adjustment to the arena game from the outdoor game and whatnot? Like, everyone brings up Kurt Warner. Obviously, I've been to 2 arena games when I was a kid. I used to watch the New York Dragons. It's fast. It's kind of crazy how fast it is. You got guys who are running 4.8 40s, look like they're running 4.6s. It's pretty dynamic.
Yeah, the field is like I think it's 28 yards wide.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's like you playing football in a hockey rink, and so it's really small. So those windows are tight, and that's what helped me the most. Anticipation. You have to be on time. If you're not on time, you're not going to pay with the incompletion. You're going to pay with the pick. Yeah, the game happens fast.
Now, the whole atmosphere of it, is it kind of feel a little bit more like a coliseum? Because even though it's less people than you might be in college, they're all packed in and on you essentially. So like those 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people get pretty loud pretty quick, a little bit more than you would think.
Sure, and out of bounds, they're right there.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you're a receiver and you catching the ball and you go over the wall, you landing on fans. So it get rowdy. It get real rowdy.
Yeah.
Now, how did the CFL come about? We didn't really talk about that offline that much. The season ends, reevaluating the options, everything like that. Did you do the combines, or was it just kind of like, someone from the Pirates saying, "Hey, man, give this guy a look" type thing? Like, how was that whole process?
I came back here, so we had a bye week, and it lined up perfectly. So we had a bye week the week that Eastern Michigan had a pro day.
Yep.
That's when Thomas Odukoya, he played tight end for the Titans right now,
Yep.
and Bryson Cannon, they were coming out, and they needed a quarterback to throw to him. And I told him I would come because it was my bye week. And so Doug Whaley and CJ Cavazos, 2 XFL player personnel guys, they were out here for the pro day. And I threw very well. And so after the pro day, they told me they would give me an opportunity to do a workout. So I signed up for the Arizona State one, but I ended up getting hurt, so I didn't do it. The season go by, nothing's going on, and then the NFL Alumni Academy happens.
Yep.
And they invite me to come to that, and I balled out. Like, I did real well. And it was like 3 weeks straight, so I showed consistency as well. And so I was on a couple of people's radar, and nothing happened from that, though. And so but I still have the film, and so I was just shopping the film around. Me and my agent were, and Danny Machocha with Montreal. They got on the phone, they called me and just told me like, "Hey, we want to give you this opportunity. We like what we saw on film and stuff like that." And I'm just grateful for the opportunity.
I mean, Mike, like, I don't want to use, and I don't think you're looking for like the sympathy or anything like that. But I love this like roller coaster. You know what I mean? Like that you're taking us on, and I mean, it's just like that. It's that St. Louis attitude. You know what I mean? Like just like let's do it. Like let's grind through it. It's gonna be okay type thing. And it's just like the nonstop of just you knocking this out type thing. So you're going up to the CFL, prepping for that, and everything. Moving towards right now, you're obviously in Michigan with the pro day and everything like that going on. Were you throwing for all the prospects and everything like that?
No, so they already did it. I just came up here to just like train. Well, we have a lot of receivers out here at Eastern Michigan, and so
Yeah.
I just hit them all up and told them, "Hey, I'm coming out there, be ready to catch, because I'm throwing every day. I'm working out every day, so I'm getting prepared for this opportunity because I can't let this one slip."
Now are you obviously it's a little bit the game's a little bit different. The field's a little bit wider, I believe, in Canada and whatnot. Are you feeling the adjustments? Like obviously you probably have the playbook already pushing forward on that right now. Is it kind of taking like pieces of the IFL game out and putting it in the CFL game, but still keeping the American game in the back of the head? Because, like we saw, he's not a Missouri kid, but he went to Mizzou. Kelly Bryant getting the call like 5 minutes ago. "Hey man, like, what? Can you come down real quick?"
So adjusting to the CFL it's not really that bad because I feel like everything that I've been through happened for a reason. So the IFL with the waggle and the high motion and all that stuff, it correlates right into the CFL. Along with the American game is similar to the CFL. The field is a little bigger, but I actually like that now because there's more room, it's more space.
Yeah.
And so It's going to be pretty fun. I've been watching a lot of film. Coach AC and Coach Moss has been helping me out a lot. You know what I'm saying? Getting adjusted to the CFL game.
Yeah. I mean, the whole journey, and I keep going back to it, is pretty amazing because at this point, like, you kind of know your trajectory, right? Like you kind of know what's going on. Like nothing is really gonna phase you at this point, in my opinion. So obviously, the ultimate goal to get back to the NFL, right? Would you ever rule out the XFL as well, especially if you can get to the Battlehawks?
At first, I mean, I didn't. I'm just happy to be where somebody want me. At first, before Montreal contacted me, I actually drove down from St. Louis, Dallas, and I went up to St. Louis Battlehawks hotel.
Nice.
Yeah, and I saw Coach Beck, and I introduced myself and told him like, "Hey, I'm the quarterback for you. Like,
That's
it's
awesome.
my city. I want to play for my city." Obviously, it didn't happen, but everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And I feel like Montreal is the place where I'm supposed to be because
That's
that's
awesome.
what.
I mean, that's awesome, man. We got about like 5 minutes left. Usually, what I do at the end is let's know about you as a man. Like, what are you doing? I know you're talking about you're helping some kids out and whatnot as well, coaching these kids up. Talk about that a little bit, if you don't mind, in the final part.
During COVID, when nothing was going on, I started training quarterbacks, and I named it Top Notch Training Company or whatever. And I was just helping all the kids in St. Louis out, all
Yeah.
age ranges or whatever, helping them with the footwork and throwing mechanics and stuff like that. And it helped me out a lot too with coaching
Yeah.
because once I stopped coaching the kids, I got an opportunity with Dayton,
Yeah.
University of Dayton in 2021. And I started coaching them and was helping out the quarterbacks, tight ends, and stuff like that. So, like I said, everything happens for a reason. But it was fun going back and always helping out the kids because that's the type of stuff I love to do.
Yeah, I mean, you're only on this earth for X amount of years, so you might as well pass it down. And maybe Mike Glass isn't the quarterback of, you know, of the Battlehawks, but God willing, the next kid at Hazelwood is. And I mean, that's always the funnest part about this whole adventure as well. Mike finish it up a little bit now with obviously the St. Louis ties and everything like that. How important is it for you to represent the city? Because I talked to Brian Hill a little bit. Him obviously he's just over the river, but being St. Louis local, we talk about people are very prideful of the city and everything like that. We've had some amazing guys come through here and whatnot. How important is it to you to just let people know that, like we talked about earlier, Missouri football, but St. Louis football isn't anything to just like gaff at?
Oh yeah, it doesn't get a lot of respect, but the people who get out of St. Louis, like Jamison Williams,
Yeah.
Roger Johnson, Ezekiel Elliott,
Macklin.
Chris Kirksey, like it's a lot of people that once they do get out and get on those big platforms, they are the ones that everybody's talking about. It's more, but the thing about it is, it's more of them. They're just now getting the opportunity to get on those big stages now.
Yeah. Like I'm originally from New York, and I talked to Terry about this as well. It's like, New York football isn't anything really. We play basketball and baseball. But when I came out here and I started looking into the local area, just like seeing what's up, and I'm like, Jeremy Macklin's from Kirkland or Kirkwood. I was like Blaine Gabbert's from Baldwin. Like, yeah, like Zeke is from Zeke went to the Catholic high school here, like Ladue or wherever. It's like one of the most underrated states in football, man. And I think that's kind of why I did the show, is because I want people to know more about this, people who love football, because even if these guys aren't in the NFL, they're dominating all these other leagues right now, and it's amazing to just have people know you and know the story and everything like that, especially your journey bouncing all around. And I mean, Mike, it's gonna work out for you, man. Just based off the statistics, it's gonna work out for you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Well, Mike, anything you want to share with the show or anything like that?
I just want to tell everybody, just keep going. No matter what you're going through, just keep going. Keep God first.
Awesome. Well, Mike, I know we wanted to do this in person. It's a little bit wacky over the Zoom. It's not as personal, but after a Grey Cup champion, put in a little bit of a Swag Kelly type thing in the Grey Cup. Come on in, throw that ring on the table, and we'll talk more shop.
You can do that for sure.
Thanks, man.
All right, guys, that was Mike Glass, quarterback for the Montreal Alouettes, joining us. Appreciate you guys. We're going to have more St. Louis guests coming on, and thank you guys for tuning in.